What's going on, everyone? It's Kochyy here. I haven't been really posting as much aside from Guild Quest videos, mostly because I'm on vacation still and I won't be back until after the New Year's. So that is why my uploads have been either not there or just Guild Quest, because I still try to do the daily, or not daily, but the Guild Quest video on the date of the new quest that comes out. But once I do get back, I do have some videos planned. Aside from Guild Quest, of course, some character showcases and stuff like that. But we did get information on the New Year's step-up summons as well as the new New Year's characters, so I do have some time right now which I'm going to use to do an analysis kind of video on these characters. So without further ado, I'm going to try to keep this not too long, relatively short if I can. So for New Year's 2019 step-ups, celebrate the start of 2019 with a new version of Ichigo. So we have the single steps and the multi-steps. The first pull for each is free, and from step 2 onwards, each steps come with a bonus. On step 6 of the multi-summons, you guaranteed one of the 12 featured 5-star characters, and the steps don't reset, so once you hit 7, you can just keep summoning from there. And here are the featured 5-star characters. In my opinion, the filler pool is really good. A lot of these units were in different fillers, but you know, seeing this as the filler is really nice instead of seeing the Lost Agent units, the same like Byakuya, Uryu, Renji, Rukia, that stuff. So thankfully they put the newer units from this year that we've gotten. So I really like this filler pool. I don't have very many, so expect a decent summoning video from me, well, depending on how my summons go in the first place. So getting into Ichigo, Ichigo's Quincy powers awaken. He's a ranged strong attack character with a unique combination of no affiliation attribute and no affiliation killer. All his attacks have a chance to inflict weaken, and he can unlock frenzy and a 5-second debilitator. He also can increase his cooldown soul trait to 14%, and that's not all though. Once his freeze immunity skill is unlocked, he becomes impervious to being frozen, making him especially useful in quests with a lot of freeze inducing enemies or hazards. And we'll get into his stats and skills. So he has 1065 stamina, 642 attack, 358 defense, 344 focus, and 794 SP, which is insane. I believe that's the highest SP in the game right now, even more than Yuha. I'm a little just kind of upset that they didn't just bump him up to 800. They should have just gave him 800 SP, why not? As you can see, he's got the no affiliation killer, and he's a no affiliation of himself, or his affiliation is no affiliation. And more so on his kit. So his special, he uses all his powers. He fires an incredibly powerful arrow that causes immense damage and inflicts weaken. His soul trait, as I said before, is 14% recharge, and his skills are as follows: Bruiser 20%, Devastation 40, Sprinter +2. So he actually has an extra flash step. So I guess they kind of went the route with Anniversary Ichigo, where they gave him 3 flash steps instead of just a standard 2. I don't know why that is, but 3 is better than 2, so no complaints there. And he has Frenzy, Debilitator 5 seconds, and Freeze immunity. So we'll just get into his gameplay right now, and we'll talk about that after. So pause that. That actually needs to be... I don't know why it's doing it like that. Okay. And we'll just play this, and then we'll discuss his strong attacks.
俺の中の力の全部これでてめえを倒す。行くぜ。
I don't know why the quality dropped so hard right there, but anyway, we'll go over his kit. So this is his special. Just speed this up a little bit. So he does a special move. He fires like an arrow that combines all his powers, I guess. And then that's starting up with his SA3. Full screen, it looks to be pretty decent activation time. His SA2, here you can see the first issue. It is a split projectile attack. He shoots 3 arrows that go in 3 different directions, and the further they travel, the more the damage is spread apart. We'll talk about this a bit more when we get into, or when we finish watching this character gameplay. And once again, there's the SA2. You can see it goes in 3 different directions. Enemies obviously survive because the damage is so spread apart. And then lastly, his SA1, which he shoots another projectile that just keeps traveling forward. Once again, enemies survive because, you know, range projectile type attacks are inconsistent. He does it here again, pushes all these enemies forward. The ones that continued in the travel path died, the ones that got pushed out of the side lived, and you can even see way back here this Largoni survived. And then we have his Nad string. His Nad string looks cool. Looks to be, it's piercing, and I like how it alternates between like the Quincy arrow and then this kind of like Getsuga attack, and then he does the cross-shaped attack at the end. So looks pretty nice, but he does have his shortcomings which kind of hold the character back. So for Ichigo, the biggest issues are his SA1 and SA2. His SA1 is a 40% magnification projectile, so as always the projectile needs to continue hitting its target along the travel path to maximize the damage output. You won't be able to deal damage evenly to mobs because of how random it can push enemies either to the left or right, depending on your positioning, and you saw that in the video with some mobs surviving. His SA2 is a split projectile type attack. These attacks spread out the further they travel, similar to 1000 Year Blood War Kisuke's SA1, Parasol Sile's SA2, and Halloween Ruruka's SA1. These kind of attacks have been talked about many times before. They spread out the damage way too much, and you're left with mobs that are surviving and just spread apart on the map with various amounts of health, unless you stand point blank to launch it. His SA3 is full screen, like I said, and that looks relatively fast, which is nice. Overall, I think he's a mediocre to average unit. 2 of his strong attacks aren't very good, and his killer is largely irrelevant. In Guild Quest, he will be able to perform well enough when he's a bonus, just like how 1000 Year Blood War Kisuke, Parasol Sayo, Halloween Ruruka, and all those other units have done well, and it's because the bonus rules really make up for the weaknesses in those types of strong attacks. So when he's a bonus, he'll still do well. He's got 3 flash steps, and his strong attacks can still work. But outside of that, in regular co-op and stuff, it's kind of like sloppy, damages all over the place. You're better off using a stronger speed character. He's still outclassed by 1000 Year Blood War Yoruichi in Guild Quest, for example. At worst case, he's an amazing recharger link for speed. Really amazing with that high SP and having a 14% soul trait. But other than that, that is the new Ichigo, and we'll move on to the 3 New Year's characters, which we're also getting on the same date. Alright, and the next banner that we're getting on the same date is the Happy New Year summons, and these feature the 3 new characters, Mayuri, Rukia, and Hanataro. And as it says on the banner, the 5-star are guaranteed to be new characters, so this leads me to believe that it's a 3% banner, like a standard 3% banner, how we get in mid-month with 3 new characters. And that's what this is, and we're getting it at the same time as New Year's. So we will get into these characters as well. Mayuri has many plans for the coming year. He's a ranged strong attack character and is the first character to have the new human killer ability. His normal attacks, first and third, and his special all have a chance to inflict paralysis. Combined with his frenzy and debilitator skills mean that he's able to give his enemies a shocking New Year's gift. He also functions well as a support character because his second strong attack is a boost, the effect of which can be extended by his enhancer. The next one is Rukia. Rukia is a melee strong attack character with a Rancor killer. Her second strong attack surrounds her in a floral vortex, making her a magnificent sight to behold. Her unlockable skills include Frenzy, Paralysis Immunity, and her Stamina Recovery Soul trait can be increased to 25%. And lastly, Hanataro is wishing for health and prosperity. He's a melee strong attack character with a Rancor killer ability. His second strong attack is a combined heal and attack, and his medic skill makes him a useful support in a variety of situations. He comes equipped with Frenzy skill and the 16% damage reduction soul trait, giving him a good balance between offense and defense. So we'll start things off with Mayuri, just going over his stats as 1053 stamina, 634 attack, 367 defense, 351 focus, and 778 SP. Like I said, he's got human killer, and which is the first of his kind. I believe that should be a 40% killer since there's no human mobs and there are human affiliation, obviously. So, you know, Chad, Orihime, Tsukushima, all the Fullbringers, that kind of thing. This is like a 40% killer against them, and you will see some use with him in the new Senkai mode if you manage to pull him. But we'll get into that later. His special, Konjiki Ashisogi Jizo's New Year performance causes immense damage and inflicts paralysis. He has a 12% recharge soul trait, and his skills are Bruiser, Devastation, Enhancer, Frenzy, Debilitator 5 seconds, and Sprinter +1. So we will just look at his gameplay really quickly and then go over that.
Yeah, watashi da yo. Shokun. Akemashite omedetou.
So that was the character. We'll just go over his strong attacks really quickly. So I believe this is his... Oh, I need to actually refresh the page. Apologies for that, because I don't have the speed control thing there. So we can see that's his SA3. So he starts with SA3. His SA3 is not full screen. It looks like it's 900 AoE. You'll see it again here. You can clearly see the AoE is defined, and there's a bit of areas outside of that. So not a full screen SA3. His SA2 is his boost, standard boost AoE. We'll do it again, and then his SA1, sadly, is this split projectile type attack. I don't know why they keep doing this. It's such a horrible attack to have. The same things that I said for New Year's Ichigo apply here in you know, the downfalls of having an attack like this. And then they have his Nad string right after, I believe. Yeah, right there. The 4-hit Nad string, I think I saw 1, 2, 3, or maybe there's 4 actually. Let me see again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, yeah, 4-hit Nad string. It continues hitting. It looks like it hits twice per projectile. But anyway, that is Mayuri. So overall, like I said, SA1, that split attack, not very good. SA2 is a boost with Enhancer, so it has the extended duration. And his SA3 is not full screen. It looks like it's just 900 AoE. Overall, I think his strong attacks, like, it's just really a downgrade compared to like a lot of the strong attacks we see in other characters. Other than the character, like, look at this artwork. Like, he looks interesting as hell, but the unit itself isn't that interesting. He has a little niche with the human killer, and you will see that in the Senkai mode that's coming up. But other than that, I don't think he's a very strong character, but he will be a good tech SAR link at worst. So we'll move on to the next character now. Alright, and the next character is New Year's Rukia. She is a heart frenzy character. Her stats are as follows: 1046 stamina, 638 attack, 370 defense, 354 focus, 774 SP with the Rankar killer. And her kit is, her special is New Year's Dance, a beautiful dance whose flowers inflict immense damage to enemy they hit. Her soul trait is 25% stamina recovery, and her skills are as follows: long reach 20%, frenzy, sprinter, bruiser 20%, devastation 40, and paralysis immunity. So we'll have a look at her gameplay right here, and then we'll talk about her strong attacks. So that was New Year's Rukia. Just go over her strong attacks and everything again. So we'll just slow this down. And we'll actually mute this. So that's her SA3. I believe it is a full screen strong attack. So that's, you know, standard stuff, not bad. And then her SA2 right here. They gave her a walking vortex around her, but they only made it a 20 hit walking vortex. So it's like almost as soon as she uses it, like it does its 20 hits and then it's done. It just kind of ends. And I don't know why they've done that. I don't know if it's because they don't want to make 50 hit vortex units anymore, or they feel that's too strong because how they're used in guild quests or something like that, and they just don't want to make more of those units. But whatever reason, she has a 20 hit walking vortex. I don't know, it feels a bit weird seeing how short it is. Nevertheless, it can still be used in guild quests, especially when she is a bonus for racking up easy combo. Just like how people have been using low level Hallibells, Aizens, and Uryus. As of recent, you can keep her at level 1 with Frenzy unlocked, and you can have her for that double vortex kind of strat, or use her vortex multiple times in a run like that. So that is something to think about if you do manage to pull her. And then her SA1 is she does like a spin forward, and it's a lunge type strong attack that attacks in this AoE around her, which is fairly standard as well. And then they have her Nat string here. She had her last hit of the Nat string is like a little tornado, and that kind of reminds me of Lost Agent Byakuya. He has a little tornado of like Senbon Sakura's petals at the end. It really looks similar to that. Her Nat string, is she just Lost Agent Byakuya? With the exception of SA3, she has a lunge type strong attack, a walking vortex, and then a different SA3, but her Nat string even looks the same. I just thought of that. She seems very similar to Lost Agent Byakuya, just without, or he doesn't have Frenzy, she does. Both are wrong card killers, one's heart, one's mind. That's interesting. But anyway, that's pretty much it for New Year's Rukia. Overall, I think she's an average unit. I think she's a bit better than Mayuri because her strong attacks are more usable. But just other than her SA2 and her soul trait, those are the only things that hold her back. But other than that, I think she is an average unit, not too great, not too bad either. So with that, we'll move on to the last character. So the last character we're going to look at is the New Year Hanataro. Hanataro is a power frenzy unit, and his stats are as follows. He has 1063 stamina, 636 attack, 357 defense, 352 focus, and 773 SP. He has a wrong card killer, and going over his kit further, his special, Shrine Visit Stampede. Somehow, Hanataro ends up riding the charging Bonnie, whose Stampede inflicts immense damage to anything in her path. His soul trait is damage taken minus 16%, and his skills are as follows. Long reach 20%, frenzy, sprinter, bruiser 20%, devastation 40, and medic. So once again, we will look at his gameplay, and then we'll talk about his strong attacks after. So that was Hanataro's gameplay. Just mute this and we'll play it back. So starting with his SA3, we'll slow that down. Sorry for the quality being kind of bad, but it's like a vortex kind of strong attack that pulls everything in, and then there's an explosion at the end. So there you go, the pull in and then the explosion. I will say that it looks slow for the entire duration of it to play out. And I don't think you can cancel out of it if it's consistent with other strong attacks that are like this. So every time you use that, you gotta let the whole thing play out. It looks rather long that you're just standing there. And then his SA2, I believe that's a standard AoE for boost and heal type strong attacks. Deals damage in 2 waves, that and then the second wave afterwards. And then his strong attack 1 is he tumbles forward, it's a lunge type. I believe it hits 1, 2, 3 times. So 6 hits on that, I think. And then you have his Nat string here. The last hit hits twice. Nothing really that great. Yeah, that's pretty much it for Hanataro. So, Hanataro, overall, another unit I would say is like mediocre to average. Strong Tech 1 is a lunge type, but it looks slower for the full thing to play out because he does 3 tumbles forward. His SA2 is a heal. It's a longer cooldown strong attack, so it comes with all the issues that brings along. And his SA3 is a vortex into explosion in front of him. Like I said, the strong attack looks slow to complete, and you probably can't flash stepped out of it. But and of course the range is limited to just what's in front of him. It probably has a decent amount of hits, being that kind of vortex type attack. So for those that are interested, this can maybe be useful in very niche guild quest situations when he's a bonus unit and you have him at level 1. But other than that, it's nothing too special in my opinion. Overall, having a DR trait and very average to below average strong attacks make Hanataro not a very good or strong unit. And that is pretty much it for these characters. So that was the New Year summons, and then I also went over the step up summons. So that's pretty much it for this analysis video. I hope you guys enjoyed and found it informative. You can definitely expect my summon video on these 2 banners. I will summon on the New Year's banner first, of course, and then depending on how this goes, I will summon on the Happy New Year summons after that. Hopefully just to snag one of them, just for the sake of saying that, you know, I got a New Year character from 2019. But anyway, that's that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it informative and helped you. And I will talk to you all later.